So today I'm going to talk more about stepping into our divine feminine and masculine energy. And I just want to say that if one is unconscious, the other is unconscious. So if you are an unhealthy empath in your unhealthy unconscious feminine energy, you also have unhealthy male energy. If you're an unhealthy empath who's a victim to your environment and feels powerless, and you're just calibrating to whatever's around you, then if you imagine your emotional body or your feminine energy as a female, imagine her like just a victim to everything, right? She's just like, she can't be creative. She's just like too busy absorbing all the negativity around her. And then the male is sitting there like either like hiding or angry at her or hiding under the bed, because the male is the mind that can execute things and help us move forward. The feminine is the energy that fuels it. So if one is unconscious, the other is unconscious. And the unconscious male has many iterations. It can be paralyzed and like indecisive. It can be narcissistic, because a healthy male energy is a builder, is an investor. He invests not only in himself and his future, and he invests in if he has a family, in his family and his relationship. He's not stuck in self-obsession or in paralysis. So if you're an unhealthy empath that attracts narcissists, you have a narcissist inside of your head who is criticizing the fuck out of you. Everything is a hologram. You attract people who are critical of you. It's because that's what you do to yourself. You have an internalized narcissist. You just happen to be embodying physically the feminine pole of the empath. But you're very hard on yourself. And when I say women are more self-reflective, I'm talking about the inner world. The inner world, right? That's why almost universally, like most spiritual events, and that's changing now, especially centered around healing, most of the attendees are women. I got a PhD in psychospiritual healing. There was maybe like 3 male students there the whole time. And that's just how it is, and it's changing. But on the extreme dark side of that, like, women can be super critical of themselves. That's why they literally kill themselves and starve themselves to be good enough and to be pretty enough. And I have compassion for that. I did that for over a decade. I had a eating disorder for over a decade, and we have a culture that promotes that. That's extreme feminine energy. If you buy into that extreme unconscious feminine energy, if you buy into that, you're still in it. You're still in unconscious. Okay. Now the desire to feel beauty and to express beauty, the energy of beauty, whatever that means for you, whether that's being stripped down, whether that's playing with makeup and dressing up for life, like, it's unique to you. But in order for us to step into our healthy male and female energy, we have to just first of all be aware of what we're in. So the biggest thing that would heal the unconscious feminine is self-acceptance. Accepting yourself, all of your whole emotional reality, accepting your appearance, accepting where you are in life, accepting everything that's happened, accepting how strongly you feel things. Accepting, when you really accept yourself, plus you trust God, everything works out for you. Because why do we even jump into these shadow archetypes of the mother and the seductress? That's another form of unconscious feminine energy. You know, like the succubus, the manipulator, the controller. And sometimes, by the way, seduction is not just like using your body parts to hypnotize someone. Seduction is even acting like this, like a little Bambi girl. If you act like this, don't be surprised if you attract someone who's a predator, because you've defined femininity as like a soft little thing that's not reality. So we jump into these archetypes because we believe that we're going to be loved that way, or that we're going to get what we want that way. But if we really accepted ourselves in our full range of humanity and how sensitive we are, really we all are, men and women, we all are, we're sensing beings. If we just accepted ourselves totally, and plus, this is the formula, plus you trust God, you trust that the life you've lived was what you needed to grow, and that when you fully own your desires and you no longer hold on to something that doesn't work for you because you're afraid that you're not going to have what you want, that takes care of everything. Because now you're in trust. Now your primary relationship is with God and not with a man or a woman or a partner or whatever. You feel so much peace that all the symptoms of all the shadow symptoms just disappear. Because if a person that loves and accepts themselves doesn't have to manipulate, doesn't have to control. If I just deeply accept who I am and what I want, and I trust that everything of my life has been perfect as it is, why do I have to control, manipulate, or seduce? The shadow becomes moot. It becomes irrelevant. So self-acceptance is the most important thing. With women and with human beings, this is a universal thing I've seen as a pattern when I do psychic surgery. I'm kind of like I'm doing a similar thing as what Jung did, but I'm exploring my own consciousness with the help of Kundalini, which turbocharges it. Plus, I notice patterns in people that I work with. And a universal thing I've noticed is like, people hate their humanity. They hate their emotions. They hate their physical body. Even they hate their sexuality. Even people who are like going to like tantric workshops, but people will say, oh yeah, well, it's not like a prostitute thing. It's like something to help. It's like, who said it was a prostitute thing? Who said there was anything wrong with like learning tantra? You can just hear when people talk, like how much they judge what they want to explore, or what they're interested in. Universally speaking, we hate the feminine. Okay, I don't care. You read The Pathway of Surrender, you read all these books. Just know this about yourself. As human beings, we really do not accept everything we feel. So that's like one of the major steps of self-acceptance. Like, accept that you have deep sadness and grief. Accept that you get enraged, and rage has so many different purposes. Like, when you're in a situation that you don't even know is like dangerous for you. Like, I was in a situation that was legitimately physically dangerous for me. I didn't consciously know what was happening, but I was like enraged all the time. And that rage saved my life, to be honest with you, because even though my mind didn't know, well, actually my soul knew, but I didn't let myself see the truth. Even though like I didn't let myself see the truth, my emotions was telling me the truth. And then, you know, if you're not in that extreme of a situation, rage a lot of times has to do with being angry at God, not trusting God. It comes back to not trusting God. You're angry at life and at God for punishing you and for not loving you. That's just a faulty thought. So we have to be so present with like our emotions and listen to them, but at the same time not fall into unconscious feminine energy, not dwell, not ruminate. A lot of people, by the way, this is just something I've noticed, especially with this movement in authenticity. If somebody else tells you what being authentic means, then you've lost it. Being authentic doesn't necessarily mean you come on as a content creator while you're crying or while you're getting a colonic, okay? Although maybe that's what it is for you. Rumination, and a lot of people, like, there's the center of consciousness, and then there's the unconscious masculine, which is like we avoid our emotions. And then there's the other side where we glamorize, we ruminate, we love nostalgia, we listen to music that keeps us sad. We literally have a romantic relationship with being sad. Okay, and these are two extremes. We have to understand that like rumination and all of that is unconscious feminine energy. So like, what music are you listening to? If you're sad, if you feel like you have to release like grief and sadness, create structure around it. When the male and the female come together, that's when we have miracles. That's why like intention, like lighting candles, getting in the bath, like if you feel some sadness that wants to come out that you've been avoiding, create a structure around it. Play music. There's a song by Chantress Seba, Chantresseba, called, I think it's called Find Peace. It's one of the best technologies I've ever heard of to help the body release sadness. Sometimes even like working with the body itself to help release sadness. Like have the intention, you know, if you have symptoms of it, like you feel listless, you feel like you can't get out of bed, like, you know, sometimes that's a process. Sometimes that's a process of grief. But there's certain signs that you're just ruminating in it. One of them being like if your immune system goes down. If your immune system goes down, like if you've been sick like a lot more than usual, then you're ruminating it, you're stuck in it. Okay, you're not present with it. If you're really truly present with it, it should release. So we have to accept everything, but we also, as I've talked about in other videos, like we have to, if we are embodying unconscious feminine energy, part of the healing is to develop healthy male energy. Get your third chakra right, girl, guy, person. Get your third chakra right. Develop self-belief, self-trust, self-esteem. That's what I was talking about in the little class I posted about becoming a healthy empath. Unhealthy empathy is because your second chakra dominates your entire life. Probably in part because it's ignored. Probably because you ignore your truth and you keep choosing things that don't work for you. And so your emotions are always crying out to you. And because the emotions are so loud because they're ignored, the mind goes paralytic. That's just how it works. So when the mind is paralyzed, we don't receive, because a healthy male energy is what helps us execute and move forward. So like when we're paralyzed in our emotional body, we don't get ideas about how to move forward. We don't do anything with our inspired thoughts. We don't do anything with them. We don't even receive them. We're not even aware of them because we're just completely absorbed in our emotional, in the world of sensation. So you have to develop healthy male energy. You know what's one of the craziest things I've ever learned that I've mentioned recently? A lot of people think that empathy means that you're always just gonna feel whatever's around you. And that's not what it is. Empathy is being able to feel a person's soul. That's how I define it now. When my tank is low and I have overextended myself, or if I've stayed in an unhealthy dynamic for too long, yes, if I have someone that I'm working with that's like really anxious or like is feeling really strong emotions, yeah, I'll start to just feel their emotions, but only when my tank is low. When I honor myself, when I don't grasp onto things that out of fear that don't work for me, when I do all the healthy things that I've been talking about, I don't necessarily just start calibrating to my environment. I told the story already that when I was doing healing work in my school, I was standing next to an energy that was represented on a drawing that was really intense. And I was having heart palpitations, and I felt like I was gonna collapse or have a heart attack. And my teacher said, "Alex, this isn't about you. Go for a walk and eat a banana." Basically, she was saying, you're just being powerless right now. This is not empathy. This is powerlessness. This is powerlessness. Sorry, like a lot of people aren't gonna like that. But in my direct experience, where I used to literally not be able to walk anywhere without feeling whatever was around me, whether that was at the grocery store, someone had an allergy, my throat would close. If someone around me was like really not speaking up for themselves, my throat would close. It was like a joke how empathic I was. I was like, this can't be it. This can't be it. This can't be it. And it's not. Healthy empathy is that you still feel what's around you, but you are contained. You have a boundary. You have a boundary, and you're not just gonna automatically calibrate to whatever sensations or whatever energies are around you. That was one of the best things I've ever learned in my life. So we have to develop our healthy male energy. We have to obviously have incredibly strong boundaries. If you're healing from really strong unconscious feminine energy, holding a boundary, creating and holding a boundary is your lifeline. It's your lifeline. If you don't honor what you know, like a lot of people try to honor what they know. Maybe they'll have a fight with someone and say, that's it. And then like 5 minutes later, you'll feel nostalgic and guilty and what did I do wrong? And then you'll open it up again. That's suicide for your feminine energy. Okay, true like reparation and healing is not going to come from that little trickster feeling of like, did I do something wrong? All of a sudden, you know something is like terrible for you, but your mind starts romanticizing all the good moments. That's the trickster. You never listen to that. You feel stable and whole inside of yourself, and if you really want to reopen a communication with someone, then do it. Yeah, I highly recommend that. I highly recommend closing space in life, but an unhealed empath is afraid of disconnecting. So their evolution would be disconnect. Disconnect already. Don't go back. Connect to God. Connect to wholeness. So I know I've been focusing a lot on the feminine because, I mean, that's been my journey, and my masculine energy has come online by, like, when you heal the feminine, you heal them. They're connected. When you honor yourself, when you accept yourself, now your mind can do stuff for you. Now, instead of like ruminating in like a wash cycle, just like give you the same thoughts every day, now actually you'll have like ideas about, oh, maybe I should do like that fascia routine that I've been like wanting to do, but I haven't done it. Maybe I've been telling myself like to do 30 minutes of yoga a day. Now you'll do it. Now you'll do it because your energy is free. It's not ruminating in sensation. So now your mind can help you execute things. They're connected. When you heal one, you heal the other. If you have unconscious male energy, and unconscious male energy takes many forms, but one of the forms it takes is narcissism, or being just self-obsessed without being aware of what's around you, without being aware of other people's desires. Like, I've heard men say like, oh, she doesn't choose me. She doesn't choose me. It's like, yet the woman was like in the relationship with that man for like 4 or 5 years, and he's saying, I don't feel chosen. I don't feel chosen. It's like, that's your mother issue. A lot of unhealthy masculine energy comes from, of course, unhealed mother stuff. And a lot of men who say that they want a feminine woman, what they're literally saying is, I want my childhood that I never had. I want to take. Like, when we're not in wholeness, whether you're in unconscious feminine or masculine, you want to take. If you're in unconscious feminine energy, you want to take someone else's self-esteem. That's why you attract a narcissist. You want to take their success. You want to take their security. You want to take their stability. Until you feel whole inside, every relationship is transactional, period. We're not victims if we're on the empathic side of the equation. Everything is transactional. That's why we have to self-source our self-esteem. And on the other side, more narcissistic people are looking for nourishment. They're looking to take. So like, if you've been in a cycle where you attract people that want to take from you, like if you've healed, this is what happened to me. I realized this transactional thing, and I'm like, no, I'm not here to take from anyone. I need my own self-esteem. I need my own self-belief. I need to fully accept and love who I am. There was like a short period where I was still attracting energy that wanted to take from me. And the last piece for me was trusting God, right? It was like, okay, I definitely am not taking anything from this person. I want to give. I want to give them everything I've got on a soul level. but I could feel that there was just, and so for me, it was like, wait a minute, why am I putting up with this? That was the final piece for me. Just enough is enough. I'm no longer putting up with this. So yes, I had my own era of like transactional consciousness, but then the tip of the iceberg, or the icing on the cake, was like, all right, now I no longer put up with this. So anyway, I'm kind of just rambling, whatever comes to me. But if you have specific questions about this, I would love to answer your questions. Just know that, like, if you are in either unconscious feminine or masculine energy, both your male and female are unconscious. If you like awareness of how to bring this into balance, please, again, feel free to reach out to me, an email, or just look at my content. I've talked about this a lot over the years. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful day.